Hi, readers. It's Miss Winter again. We are going to continue on in the chapter we've been reading in I Love You, Michael Collins. If you'll recall from where we were yesterday, Mammy woke up to find out that now, along with the rest of her family, her cat Campbell is also gone, and she wasn't able to find him. She went to church with Buster and his family, and they were just getting back so that she could start getting ready for the party when we ended yesterday. So I'm just going to reread this paragraph here before we get on to our new stuff. I turned on the portable fan and started looking for the fancy toothpicks, the ones with colorful frilly cellophane on the edges, to use later on with the cocktail franks. The phone rang, but it was Buster, telling me all about the Eagle undocking from the Columbia. Remember when I started keeping track of the days, and I told you that I might even start keeping track of the minutes too? Well, here it is, Michael Collins. Every minute is important now. Today, at 1:47 p.m., the Eagle, carrying Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin in it, began the journey to the surface of the moon, leaving you by yourself in the Columbia. They said so on TV, Buster said. I told him to hang on for a minute. Then I dropped the phone so it clattered and ran to turn on the TV. But there was nothing to see, just men talking over a simulation. I ran back to the phone, snatched it up. I wish we could see it, I said, sighing. I know, Buster said, but they say Neil Armstrong has some kind of camera he'll attach to the outside of the Eagle, and then we'll be able to see everything once they get to the moon. Which they hopefully will, I said. Hopefully, he agreed. I wondered what you were thinking then, Michael Collins. Were you wishing you could go with them, or had you somehow found a way to be happy right where you were? How was it even possible, I said, my mind moving on to something else, for a little spacecraft to land on something like the moon when the moon's always moving too? You need to aim ahead of it, Buster said, so the moon's own speed can catch you at the right moment. That's how you intercept it. How long do you think it'll take, I asked, them getting there? A few hours still, he said. That's what they said on TV. Okay, I said, then I'd better get on with my cleaning. Okay. It's amazing how long it takes to clean a house all by yourself. But you can't have a party in a dirty house. So I just got to it. I put on an apron so I wouldn't get my pretty outfit dirty, and then I dusted and vacuumed and polished and straightened. I even did something about the bathrooms, although, I must confess, not much. Then I started decorating. There wasn't a lot, just some red and white and blue streamers left over from the 4th of July. I used those in the dining room and living room. I also found a couple of red, white, and blue cocktail napkins in a pack and put those out too. If we were careful with them, maybe we could make them last the night. A few hours later, the phone rang again. Each time the phone rang, I was disappointed that it wasn't anyone in my family calling, but also glad that at least I still had Buster. They did it, Buster cried, excited. They're on the moon. Oh no, I cried back, disappointed. You mean they walked on the moon already and I missed it? No, that won't come until later, but at 4:18 p.m., the Eagle landed in the Sea of Tranquility. They landed in a sea? What was Buster talking about? Is that even safe? No, yes, it's safe. But no, it's not really a sea. There's no water on the moon, Mammy. Just a flat plain where they are now. They just name all the places on the moon different things. It doesn't have to make linguistic sense. Oh, well, how soon will they be walking? No one knows. He paused then. Do you want me to come over sooner than 7, just in case? I felt a phew run through me over things I hadn't even known I'd been feeling. Could you? I asked. Sure, he said. When do you want me? I thought about this. Now? I said. Buster arrived so quickly it practically qualified as magic. He stood there on the other side of the door, holding his pitcher of Tang. Buster had on his navy blue suit and tie and a stiff white shirt, just like he'd had on when we went to church that morning, only now there was something in his hair slicking it down. You still have your suit on? I said. Not still, he said. I took it off when I got home, but then I put it back on again. He shrugged. Well, it is a party. What's that in your hair? I asked. Vitalis. Do you like it? I wasn't sure how I felt about it. It's different, I finally said. Then I remembered my manners and invited him in. The place looks great, he said as I took the pitcher of Tang from him and set it down. Then he walked around some, like he'd never been here before. I really like what you did with those decorations, he said when he got to the dining room. Would you like some hors d'oeuvres? I asked. I can get those started. That'd be great. So I boiled the cocktail franks in water, remembering to turn off the burner when they were cooked, put them on a plate, stuck party toothpicks in them. Then I poured chips into a bowl and stirred together sour cream and French onion soup mix to make the dip in another bowl because, as I believe I may have mentioned in a previous letter, you can't have a party without chips and dip. Then I brought it all out into the living room and set it up on the coffee table so we could keep an eye on the TV, although there wasn't much to see yet. Just a lot of people talking and a bunch of maps and charts and more simulations. That was okay though, because Buster had ideas about everything. Today, when Armstrong and Aldrin exited the Columbia into the Eagle, Michael Collins pressed a button, causing the two crafts to separate. Then Aldrin fired the rockets on the Eagle, and off they went. How do they even guide the Eagle to get it precisely on the moon? I asked. Rockets. Buster shrugged. Radar. The Eagle has 16 small rockets around it to help position it. Up, down, left, right. Hey, these franks are good. Thanks. Just be careful with that cocktail napkin. It's got to last you through all of the courses. Buster's eyes widened. You mean we're having even more than this? Uh-huh. Which reminds me, I better go start my chicken. Do you need any help? Nah, you'd better stay here so you can call me if anything happens. There's not much that my sister Bess is ever right about, but I'll tell you, it turned out she was right about that chicken. In order to make it with the Campbell's cream of mushroom soup, all you do is set the oven, place pieces of chicken in a pan, open up the can of soup, pour it over the chicken, and then put the whole thing in the oven to bake. So nothing hard. I suppose for something to be considered special, it has to be hard or at least rare. But you know what? I don't care. Even though I know the trick of it now, somehow that chicken is still special to me. While it baked in the oven, the house getting hotter and hotter as a result, and me not sure what to do with the portable fan, leave it in the kitchen where the hot oven was or put it in the living room where the hot we were, I asked Buster, "Don't you want to take your jacket off?" "Can I?" he said, clearly relieved. "Tie too?" He was already tugging at the knot. "Knock yourself out." Honestly, he looked good in his suit, but I didn't want him to suffer for the sake of beauty. When the chicken was ready and still nothing new was happening on TV, I decided to serve us in the dining room on the good dishes and things like I had with my sisters 2 days ago. Just to be on the safe side, I turned the volume on the TV in the living room up as high as it would go so we wouldn't miss anything. As soon as we started eating, Buster got awful quiet. "Is the chicken okay?" I asked. "It's great." He took another bite. "My mom never makes anything like this." "How do you make it? Maybe you could give her the recipe." "Oh, it's real easy," I said, and told him how I did it. "Huh," he said. "I don't think my mom's ever made anything with a can of soup before. Well, except soup." Then he fell quiet again. All that could be heard was the sound of the TV blaring and, over that, noises coming through the windows from the party at his house. "Do you wish you were there?" I said. "At your parents' party?" I thought for sure that must be it. It sounded so big and like everyone was having a good time. "Oh no," he said. "I'm fine where I am. It's just what?" "It's like this. You look forward to something happening, you even dream about it. But dreaming and doing are two different things. When you're actually doing, there's still so much that could go wrong. He may be my closest friend, the person I know best in this world, but sometimes the things that come out of Buster's mouth, they are a puzzle." "What are you talking about, Buster?" "The astronauts, of course." That's when it hit me. For the first time, Buster was worried. And if he was worried, what hope did I have? Still, I had to ask him. "They made it, Buster. They're on the moon. What could go wrong now?" "What couldn't? Take those spacesuits of theirs. Each spacesuit is like a mini pressurized spacecraft. It's got a radio and its own oxygen supply. There are lunar gloves, lunar overshoes, you name it. Helmets with visors because of the sun's light, a backpack with more oxygen in it, and there's no gravity, so it's actually easy to carry it all." "Then what's the problem?" "No one really knows what will happen when they step out onto the moon. No one's ever done this before. There could be dangers." "Like?" "Like if they get a hole in one of those suits while outside of the ship. Blood and body fluids would come to a boil. You'd blow up like a balloon and suffocate." I could feel my mouth falling open as I thought about this. Then, "Aw, that won't happen. I'll bet they tested those things 1,000,000 times." All the while I was thinking, well, at least you, Michael Collins, don't have to worry about that happening to you. Still. "What do you think they're doing right now?" I asked, to change the subject, to get Buster's mind off things. Mine too. "What do you think is taking so long?" "They have to make sure the Eagle will be ready for takeoff again. Before they can even leave it at all, they have to make sure the Eagle is ready, in case they have to depart suddenly." All right, otters, this is where we're going to end for right now. So we will be finishing the next chapter tomorrow. So make sure, once you're done listening, to head back into Canvas to answer the discussion question for today. Talk to you tomorrow.